My name's James Bridgeforth. I'm a young and very successful investor, and after watching this video, I'm going to show you 3 investments that you can scale up to surpass your full-time job. These investments have also allowed me to surpass my own income, so I'm going to show you the exact strategy and system I used to do so. By the end of this video, you will learn exactly where to put your money to start earning passively. Before I dive straight into these investments, I want to explain that I notified my followers about these exact investments about when to buy on April 16th, and the video was titled, "What to do with your tax returns instead of spending them on useless items." I suggested that you invest in these 3 investments, and this is exactly how they performed since then. The first investment that I suggested for all of my followers was Bitcoin. Bitcoin is one of the best performing assets in the entire world. Bitcoin is a finite currency that allows you to store your value and your money and wealth into this asset, and it's proven to go up over long periods of time while also sustaining and growing your wealth. So on April 16th, I notified my followers that Bitcoin was down 21% over the last 3 months, and it was sitting at a price of $76,000. This was a major discount at the time. I was telling everybody that I knew, any of my coaching calls that I had, that Bitcoin was at a good price and that it was possibly a good opportunity for you to buy. So with Bitcoin sitting at $76,000, I was loading up all the money that I had, putting it into Bitcoin at this cheap price because I understand the same hype that Bitcoin had when it rallied above 100K is the same hype that it should have when Bitcoin is sitting at $76,000. And the reason that I notified people and was pushing them so hard to possibly look into Bitcoin to buy this investment is because since Bitcoin was at $76,000, everybody knew it was going to go back to 100K. That's the bare minimum. So if the bare minimum is 100K, that's a 38% gain, which is exactly what we were able to benefit from this investment. And if you bought when I told you to, or you took that suggestion, Bitcoin is currently sitting at a price of $103,000. That's a gain of 40% that you could have gained on your tax returns. So that's another way that Bitcoin, the first investment that we're going to cover, went up 40%, which could possibly surpass your monthly income. Now, I know a lot of you watching are probably looking at this video and you're thinking, well, I didn't buy Bitcoin at $76,000. So what do I do now? You're still going to have an opportunity. In my opinion, I believe that we're still early to Bitcoin. I believe in the next 8 to 10 years, we could see a $1 million Bitcoin. And the reason behind this is because the same way that we have inflation in our goods and services is the same way that we have asset inflation. And there's going to be more global adoption as we're seeing every single day that the United States is even holding Bitcoin as a reserve currency asset. So many other countries are going to rush to do the same thing, and it's going to be a race to who can own the most Bitcoin because it's the most finite asset in the world, and it can't be diluted. If you're interested in what Bitcoin can provide to you or how I utilize Bitcoin to grow my wealth, look out for a video in the next couple of weeks where I'm going to explain exactly why I save in Bitcoin and the amount that I have in the position and how far I look to grow it. The second investment that I'm going to cover is Nvidia, which is the #1 AI chip making company in the entire world. Nvidia was sitting down 16% at a price of $111 and rallied all the way up 21% to $135. Nvidia is a great investment to make for the future, as AI is slowly taking over and slowly being globally adopted into the entire world. All the major companies of the Magnificent Seven are slowly starting to incorporate AI into their business plans, and you're starting to see it in everyday life as well. Nvidia's demand actually outweighs the resources that they have. There's actually more people that are demanding these Nvidia AI chips than more chips that they can produce at a given time. So when you have more demand than you actually have supply, then that causes the price to rise, and that causes your company to become more valuable. And over time, as they start to learn the production process of how to create more and more chips, they'll be able to match the supply with the demand, which will cause them to boost in revenue sales, which will cause the stock price to go up. The third investment I want to speak on is VTI. VTI is one of my favorite investments to make, and it's actually one of the ones that I suggest to every single person that I get on a coaching call. And the reason is because it's the best for beginner investors. If you're nervous and you don't understand exactly how to buy and hold, or you don't know how to evaluate companies, then VTI is the right investment to make. VTI actually tracks the performance of the total stock market, which makes it a much safer investment. But you're obviously not going to get the same returns that you could get from an individual stock, but you're going to get steady growth over a long period of time. You can actually buy VTI without having to check your account every single day, just knowing that you're going to get good returns on a year-to-year basis. And when I notified my followers that I was making the investment into VTI was actually down 18% over the last 3 months and was sitting at a price of $241. Since then, VTI has rallied up 21% to a total price of $291 per share. This just means that at the making of that video, if you took your tax returns and actually put it into these 3 assets that I suggested, that you would have gotten such a great return that it could have surpassed your monthly income. And the reason I believe in VTI over long periods of time is because it's been proven to go up ever since this ETF was first published. And the reason is because it tracks the performance of the total stock market. That is the biggest key factor, as the stock market is proven to go up 70% of the time. The stock market has been out since the 1700s, and every single time it's gone down or it's crashed, it's been proven to recover 100% of the time. So if you take, okay, the stock market actually goes up 70% of the time, and every time we're in a crash or the market goes down, it recovers 100% of the time, then you can ensure that VTI is the right and safe investment for you to be in as a beginner investor, because you can count on that every single year you will get a good return on your money, but over time it will definitely grow your wealth instead of sitting in a bank earning 0% interest. And if you're wondering, why were these investments down during the time that he suggested us to buy them? It's because the United States was actually currently in a tariff war where they were going back and forth with other countries, negotiating the amount of tariffs that they wanted to put on each other. Tariffs is actually the taxation of importing and exporting goods, and that tariff is actually a burden onto the companies that they will then pass down to consumers. That's why you saw the price of everything going up during that time. When you have these tariff wars, it causes uncertainty in the market because the market doesn't know what's going on. And when there's uncertainty in the market, you will always see red. Now, when there's certainty in the market and the market gets a resolution, then the market will then rally and go up. But whenever there's uncertainty, the market will be red. And this is the main reason why I was able to buy these investments at a 15 to 20% discount, and why I was able to benefit so heavily from these investments to the point where I was able to surpass my full-time income, and why I can do the exact same for you moving forward. So the next time I come out with a video explaining the exact investments that you need to make, if you want to be a part of that and be notified and be one of my followers and understand exactly when I'm making these investments, the link to follow them will be in the description. So with all that being said, that's going to wrap up today's video. If you're interested and on the journey of creating financial freedom for you and your family, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell so you never miss an update. Remember that I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.